There are many biographies of Luther out in the market today. Each generation has written one or several. How might you think about recommending one to readers?
The kind of standard work, if you want sort of a reference work for Luther's life in which almost every fact that ever happened to him is recorded, I'd recommend Martin Brecht. Jim Schaff from Trinity Seminary in Columbus translated that for Fortress 20, 30 years ago. And it still stands in German original, in English translation, as sort of the larger biography that still tells us more than we want to know, probably.
Indeed. 3 volumes, 400 plus pages each. I think it is one of the bigger ones. What about a shorter volume that you might recommend as well?
Roland Baton is still fun to read, but it's 65 years old this year, and it's got the best scholarship up to 1950. Jim Kittleson wrote 35 years ago, another Fortress product. I'm partial to Paul Robinson, my colleague's short biography, biography for beginners. But I've read and reviewed 2 or 3 that really aren't very good, and so readers have to be a little bit careful.
Absolutely.
And look at what's in each particular volume.
You mentioned Kittleson. We're pleased that it's in revision right now. Hans Wiersma from Augsburg College, who studied with Kittleson, is revising and slightly expanding it even as we speak. So we think within the next year, Kittleson for this generation will be available,
Very
updated.
good.
So, yes. As you think about the Reformation anniversaries coming up, what are the texts that are on your mind or the events that are most on your mind that you hope are highlighted and brought to mind for others?
My favorite read in Luther, which is probably not the first read people should make, is his Galatians commentary of 1531 in lecture and 1535 in publication in the Luther's Works, volume 26 and 27. There, I think he develops his theology in a very clear and pointed way for students, but also on a level that lay people can certainly appreciate and get into. There are some dramatic moments there. For instance, the duel between Christ and Satan, and the full impact of Luther's ability to use monologue, dialogue, narrative, as well as good theological analysis comes through. But as a beginning point, I would go to his 1520 treatise on the freedom of a Christian, on which I hope to write a commentary for Fortress in the next couple of years.
We hope so too.
That's really his major treatise on the doctrine of justification, and it shows that to use his language, we are freed from all our enemies by Christ's death and resurrection. Devil, death, sin, the law, the wrath of God are gone. We're a new person in Christ. But then he ties together what at least Lutherans are accused of not always realizing, that the person justified in God's sight then acts in a righteous way in his new or her new identity as a Christian toward brothers and sisters. And that's all there in the freedom of a Christian, and fairly short version of his theology. That's where I would begin. His sermons are just fun too, because you see as he looks at a specific text, he's somewhat text bound, but he doesn't let the text get in the way of a good point if the text reminds him of several other Bible passages that he can weave together and bring to the Wittenberg audience this week. So I think reading his sermons is also just a joy and a pleasure.